Hello and welcome. We have confirmation on how we can equip two legendaries in this new patch in 9.2. And this got people a little bit jogging their noggins a little by the simple fact that people don't want to have to do a rep grind. Because this is how you basically unlock um, the ability to use two legendaries by doing a rep grind with the enlightened and getting revered. Now, if you want to get to the more specific things, to be able to equip two legendaries, you have to either get a belt or a recipe that you unlock by being at revered with the enlightened faction. The recipe costs like 500 cosmic flux, and the belt is 2,500 cosmic flux. The belt is more expensive, but that's pretty irrelevant. Now, here's the thing. I have no problem with it being a rep grind. Quite frankly, I don't. You're supposed to earn stuff in this game one way or another. And I think it makes sense that you get it. Yeah, it's not gonna be a quest, which would have been the more preferred way to do it and the more least expensive one, where you don't have to grind some currency that they just invented for this new patch. But my problem, as is with unlocking flying and the story, is if it's put behind the time gate. For example, you can't really grind to revered from the first day the patch launches. No, you can't. You have to wait 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 months to be able to get revered, let alone exalted. And while I enjoy grinding rep for factions and getting stuff, I have to be honest. If you put it on a time gate, you're losing even me with this one. Because what time gating does for both flying and presumably if flying to be more correct, and these two legendaries at the same time, is the Blizzard devs just covering themselves because they didn't make enough content for an expansion. See, this is one of the biggest problems with World of Warcraft, is that there isn't much content. It might seem like there's stuff to do, because quite frankly there is, if you're willing to wait a time for it, which is the worst part of it all. That you are forced to wait like a determined number of days, for example, to be able to fly after you've already unlocked flying in Shadowlands, to unlock the ability to equip two legendaries at once. That's the problem. They use time gating as a way to cover themselves because they didn't make enough content, and they don't, and I guess the higher ups don't want to make more content. I think I have no other idea, because this could simply be resolved by simply implementing the patch 9.2 and then adding dot patches like we had 9.1.5, where you add content, maybe a new dungeon, maybe a new battleground, some interesting new stories and side stories, for example, some character development, some cinematics. But that would require extra work, and extra work can be pretty much nullified by the fact that you put a set period of time between being able to do stuff. Because during that period of time while you're waiting, if you're somebody like me that likes to do it all in one go when it happens, then you're gonna find yourself in this position where you're stuck in this new zone and this new expansion, and it's a waiting game. And I think that's my biggest problem with whatever Blizzard is gonna do with 9.2, is the fact that the devs promised they would listen and that they would try to change stuff to listen to the players and whatnot. And in the end, it seems we're going back to the same stuff. That is, of course, if the rep is going to be time gated. Time gated. If it's not, then I don't know, tough luck. Start grinding. That's the easy part. But if it's time gated, then well, we're going back to the same problems we had before with the Warcraft devs pretending that they're listening, but not really listening. And I think that's really quite sad, especially when you consider all the stuff that's been happening. Maybe if management cared more about, making money in the long run, they would probably do this. But I don't know how they work there in their department, in their economic accountant into accounting. I don't know how their accounting works and whatnot. Yeah, so being a rep grind isn't bad. The worst thing about it is the time gating, if there is. I kind of have a little. I don't have hope that it's not going to be time gated, but there is still a sliver of chance that's shining inside me that thinks, no, no, this won't be time gated. No, at least not this, not the rep grind. But who knows? In the end, who really knows?